Because how did you go from a doctor, a physician in the ER, reading x-rays and stopping patients from dying to reading charts and making life-changing trades?
Yeah, no, so it's quite a story. I was an ER doc in Fort Myers. I actually am from Philadelphia, went to medical school there, trained in Miami Beach in residency at Mount Sinai Medical Center, and then took a position in a partnership group in the Fort Myers area. I practiced there as an attending emergency physician for about 5 years, and about a year or two into my practice, I actually started to have some hip pain, and I was diagnosed with a hip condition. And I looked back and I said, wow, that's probably from all of my sports. I was a big high school and collegiate athlete, and I had 2 hip surgeries, and I came back and I was on crutches walking around the ER a couple months after my surgeries, and I realized that it's quite a bit of walking, in the ER. And so my orthopedist recommended, look, you probably need to take a desk job. And I actually was also a finance major in college,
okay,
in addition to pre-med. And I decided that I would eventually transition into finance. So I found Gareth on YouTube. I started to look at the charts and learn technical analysis. And I was really fascinated, by the price movement and how different trend lines can affect, major moves, not only on the macro scale, but also on the micro scale. And I came in and trained with the team here, and they had a position for me, and yeah, so it's been a lot of fun.
So you found Gareth. You found
Yeah.
Gareth online, and that was enough for you to give up a lifelong career as a medical doctor to try trading?
Well, I knew that I couldn't practice in the ER anymore. I just knew that
Because you have to be on your feet
right,
for that a lot.
right,
Okay.
10 or 15,000 steps per shift, and after 2 major surgeries, it was difficult. So my physician said, find a desk job, and I said, okay, well, I can do telehealth or I can do something else. And as an ER doc, telehealth just didn't appeal to me, and so I looked at a couple other things. I was previously working for a global healthcare company, and I considered, going back and working with them. But I said, I want to change things up. I want to do something different, maybe go back and learn about finance more and look at the financial markets. And right around 2020, 2021 is when I had my surgeries, and I saw the amazing run in the stock market, and that's really when I got interested. So in between my ER shifts, I would study the markets, I would study the charts.
Using Gareth's course?
Well, this was actually a couple years before
Okay.
I found Gareth, and I went online and I looked at a bunch of different people and supposed gurus, and I found Gareth, and I said, wow, he's really incredible. And thankfully they've been so welcoming and took me in here at Verified Investing.
You say you found Gareth like you found God, like you found Jesus.
Well, he has become a good friend of mine, so it's.
But still, okay, divine inspiration aside, it's still such a dramatic move. I mean, surely there was a trade that you did that confirmed to you, I can do this. I mean, was there any sort of pivotal moment where you used this newfound knowledge, had a really successful trade or 2 or 10 or whatever it is that gives you enough conviction to make this big decision to have such a dramatic career transition?
Right. Yeah. So there was a great couple trades actually about a year ago in March of 2023 during the banking crisis. And I remember the saying, you can make money when blood is running in the streets. And I saw these banking stocks collapsing, and I had already had the technical analysis foundation. And so most people would be scared about a falling, stock, but I actually found an opportunity to profit, in those situations. And so I can actually pull up a chart for you here.
Talk us through it. Yeah.
This was First Republic Bank. And many of you remember this crazy time in the markets. First Republic Bank was trading somewhere around $121 here in early March 23, and there was a major fall here. And I actually zoomed in. I zoomed into the lower time frames, and I started to see these moves on the 1-minute charts. And I came up with a couple patterns here, and we can talk about this in more detail later. But For example, the stock fell precipitously here. I found my patterns, and this was a 5% move here. So for example, I would enter here and then sell here close to resistance. Same type of pattern here. This was an 11% move, and this all happened within 20, 30 minutes. So I did that for about 3 or 4 days, and by the end of that time frame, essentially by the end of the week, I was up $30,000. For the first time in my life, and for years, I didn't understand how this worked, and I really wanted to learn it. And years before this, you struggle when you start to learn trading and investing, and until you actually study and figure out some of the details, that's when it really clicked for me, and I said, wow, I really can do this. So
you made $30,000 in what, 5 days?
About 4 days.
4 days, using these short-term trades, the 1 minute chart, which I know is the focus of your course.
Right.
And we'll break down exactly how that works. And of course, you get into tremendous detail, but you make a number of small micro trades that add up.
Right. And these weren't big positions. These were $10,000 to $15,000 positions. They weren't $100,000, $200,000 positions. So it was pretty unique, yeah.
And that was enough to give you the confidence to say, all of those years of medical school, all of that time and experience working as a doctor and as an ER doctor, I'm going to pack it away for the excitement and the adrenaline rush of the trading floor.
It was tough.
The trading desk, rather.
Sure. No, it was tough. I went through, again, 4 years of medical school, 4 years of residency, and obviously 4 years of college before all of that. And I was in a great group, loved my colleagues, loved my work, really, really incredible work that we do in the ER. But I realized that, every shift I was in pain. And so I really had to kind of be smart, and it really kind of forced me out of medicine, after my surgeries. And I decided this is something that I can sit in a chair and do for the rest of my life. I just have to learn it and study, and that's what I've done. So
and perhaps on occasion experience a different kind of pain.
Right, absolutely.
But hopefully those occasions are fewer as opposed to the gains and the profits that we're making. As a doctor, are there any qualities or skills that you found are helping you be successful in this role?
Sure. I think that probably one of the reasons that I've been drawn to, trading especially, and again, I don't only trade, I also invest for the long run, both in the stock market and real estate. But one of the things that appeals to me in trading is it's very similar to sports, and it's also very similar to emergency medicine. In emergency medicine, you have a critical patient that comes in, and if the case goes well, that's easy. But if the case goes in the wrong direction, you need to have your plan A, B, C, D, E, and F, right? Mm-hmm. And so that was one of the things we learned in emergency medicine residency, and we spent hours, 60, 70 hours a week learning this over and over again for years, putting ourselves into very difficult, challenging positions that really forced us to slow down, take a deep breath, think logically, think rationally, and I do think that training has translated now over to the stock market.